Hello there, and welcome to this week's edition of Creative Critique. Now, the film I'm going to be looking at this week is another film within my series of reviews of the 2017 Blockbuster season. My previous film reviews have included the likes of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Alien Covenant, and Pirates of the Caribbean Salazar's Revenge, or Dead Men Tell No Tales, depending on your location. So the film I'm going to be looking at this time is the latest film to be entered into the DC Extended Cinematic Universe. That film is, of course, Wonder Woman. And I know I say this every single time, but it's interesting, isn't it? And in part why it's interesting is because DC have now had three good budgeted and, well, you'd think talented attempts at making a, well, decent film. And have yet to do so in regards to the three films prior. And that includes Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Suicide Squad. Films that all had interesting things, is the polite way of putting it, about them, and even qualities that were admirable, but were just so botched in terms of an actual end cinematic product. To say they're good films would be doing them, I don't know, giving them more credit than they're due to a particular degree. So this is where Wonder Woman comes in, because, like I said, DC have yet to have a bona fide critical success from those three films I've just mentioned. Yet Wonder Woman, it would appear, is the first film to be receiving rather positive and receive very positive reviews from the professional critics and fans alike. And it's an interesting one, because I have some opinions, possibly, that might not be as positive as in regards to some other critics and so on and so forth. And it's in part because of how much of the superhero genre of films we've come to see. And it's all about context, isn't it? Because, like I said, having talked about the previous three films in the DC Extended Universe, they've not been critically successful, they've been all over the place. So we finally get a film here in Wonder Woman where it's actually very competently made, it's much more structurally sound, and has quite positive performances, quite positive things in the script in terms of it's witty, but it doesn't particularly stray too far from those confines of that. So, coming from somebody who's been criticising Marvel of late in regards to being a bit too safe and a bit too predictable, this kind of falls into that category a little bit. I'm not going to dampen the positiveness too much, but there's certainly a level of over praising something that is kind of doing what it should be doing in the first place. Yes, I'll leave it at that point for that moment. But I'll just go through the sort of cast, people and directors involved and so on and so forth. So Gal Gadot, of course, returns in terms of the form of Wonder Woman herself. From her brief appearance in Batman vs Superman, it was a very positive and impactful appearance in Batman vs Superman, and was one of the few things that was extremely entertaining about that film. Again, she's very enjoyable here, and I will comment upon a few little things. I think she's good in certain aspects of the role, but also I can also see a bit of, I hate to criticise somebody in the more sort of serious moments of the film where I think that wasn't quite good enough as a performance. But her as Wonder Woman, her set itself, that strong female lead is very impactful. She's very good. The other players involved, really the main one is Chris Pine, who plays, is it Steve Trevor? Or is it Trevor Steve? I don't know, because I kept getting mixed up with Steve Rogers, Captain America, because of the setting, because of the time period piece it is as well, being set during World War One. There's many parallels with Captain America, the First Avenger, and to a degree, rightfully so, because, like I say, this is the first film in the DC Extended Universe where they've actually attempted to even try of actually building a character before you actually give you the character. So, yes, well done. You finally managed to do a story. It's quite well structured, like I say, well told. But we should have been having that to begin with. So, should you get praise for something you should be doing anyway? Yeah, okay. So, but I'll give it a bit of credit, a bit of kudos. It does then do the job pretty damn well in terms of giving you a bit of origin of what the character of Wonder Woman means. and what defines her. So, okay, yeah, very good. Chris Pine plays a good, actually, kind of, not co-lead, but very much support act to Gal Gadot. And considering how big Chris Pine is, it probably took a bit of gumption to actually take that sort of role on. But he performs it extremely well. He's always as warm and as engaging as he is as a character and as a performer. He always, every time he's on screen, you engage, like I say. The rest of the podcast is a bit all over the place in terms of particular performances, possibly, and that's okay. We've got Danny Huston effectively playing the main villain, who is a World War One German, well, Nazi, of course, with interesting ideas, put it that way. There's also the likes of David Thewlis, and who makes quite a impactful impression upon the film. I can't really go much more into that sort of performance because it's an interesting where it goes. There's also support, some good comic side support from, I'm never going to get these names right. First of all, we got Ewan Bremer as well, and is it Said Tagamori? I've got it wrong, I've remembered it wrong. Either way, they're both reasonably entertaining. So, generally, positiveness regarding around the cast. The effects are as good as any, which is one of the few things that they do get right. DC generally, the effects are extremely good. The music is continuing to be as fantastic as it was in Batman vs. her particular theme. It is just a wonderful piece of music that has been further utilised by Rupert Gregson-Williams from that Junkie XL and Hans Zimmer initial Wonder Woman theme from Batman vs. Superman. So some good technical stuff there, and I will comment upon the fact I think it does rush a bit to get to the cool moments. It wants those big, cool, iconic moments very quickly, which is interesting because it's a film of 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it didn't feel like it at all. It does quite progress quite steadily, and at no point, I would say, lags generally. But it does rush. It suddenly jumps from being one thing into that cool moment very quickly. And it does feel a little bit rushed. So that's not denying those moments when they are cool. They are fantastically cool. There's some great set pieces, some great pieces of action that are superbly formed and choreographed to a brilliant degree. So I'm going to now go into the bit where I was saying earlier on about how the critics have been extremely positive in regards to certain aspects of the film. I do think there's a bit of play, like I say, of, oh, finally we've got a good DC movie. So there's a bit more willingness to give a bit more praise in that aspect. Also, as I said previously regarding Marvel films, I've given somebody who's been a recent critic of Marvel films of being a bit safe and a bit too predictable in terms of their setup and how they build things. They're in play again here. They needed it more, DC, to do it. So that's why I'm a bit more critical of that thing. It's about time they did it, but it should be, like I said, it should be expected to be done anyway. That sort of thing. Also, there's a particular way the film goes in the last third, in the third act, in regards to villainry and shifts of story dynamic that are interesting initially, and then are kind of pulled again. The rug is pulled. Oh, okay. And then, okay, right, fine, that's happening now. Regards to that character. Oh, well, now you pulled the rug again. Oh, so it was that person controlling that thing, and that. I think the initial thing where you thought something was about to happen, that was quite a significant character moment in regard to a particular fight with a Nazi on a tower. So I'm going to say, and at the end of that fight, it appears to be a realization from Wonder Woman in particular that would have been a significant character-defining moment. Yet then they quickly bottle it and go back to what it was all thought to be in the first place anyway. Fine. Okay, then they did that, but then at the end of it, they suddenly had. Oh, so they were being controlled. So it isn't about that human nature thing. That was a bit stupid from my point of view, in terms of to have that final scene and that imagery of everybody hugging and so on and so forth. But whatever. So I thought it was greatly entertaining. Don't get me wrong. I think there's no doubt a significance of the picture in regards to a female-led blockbuster of big budgetness. Effectively, that's the word I just invented, of course. On the it's now going to be in the thesaurus. Big budgetness, and there was always going to be a lot of pressure put on this film to have a positive reaction. And in fact, I think that's why, in part, also there's a bit more positiveness, a bit more leeway to be given to the film. But I am a film fan, and I'm not looking at whether this is female-led, male-led. I'm just looking at purely the facts, or whether this is a film that is, first of all, genuinely entertaining, and then is it doing anything different with its subject matter? It's genuinely entertaining. Is it doing anything particularly different? Not too much, really, is it? And the interesting thing is, it was about to do it, then bottles it, and then does something else anyway. So I think it's no doubt the most positive DC entry so far. But what they've not got to do DC is look at all these positive reviews and go, oh, we've made it. Now we can just do exactly the same thing over and over again like this, and we'll be fine. Because that's the point where they get to where Marvel are, in my point of view. And as successful as they are, and critically successful they are, there's stuff about them that are too predictable. And I know the superhero films, and they go through particular formulas and things like that, and story arcs that are quite repetitive. But for somebody who's going to continue watching these films, they do need a different angle and a different just way of portraying things to an audience. So it's greatly entertaining, woman. I thought it was greatly performed. I think there was, for once, it was finally a bit of story structure. It should have been there in the first place, but I've been through that about 2 or 3 times now. It was funny, and more than anything, it was actually intentionally funny. Unlike the absolute debacle that Batman vs Superman was, where it was just all over the place, and there was stuff written that was like, you cannot be serious. Yeah, there's a bit of predictable, but it's not stupidly predictable dialogue. So overall, it is good. It's greatly entertaining. It falls a bit into its superhero formula a bit too much. But Patty Jenkins has done a pretty damn good job at directing this film. So, yeah, I do have a bit more of a higher hopes now for where DC are going. Although, of course, like I say, they've not got to rest on this laurel, and they've got to probably expand on things in terms of presenting it differently to an audience. So, there we go. Wonder Woman. I thought, like I say, the stuff to it certainly admire. A little bit predictable in terms of assets, but predictability over awfulness is always better, I suppose, in a way. But yeah, Wonder Woman is my latest entry into my Summer Blockbuster 2017 series of video reviews. So there we go. It was greatly entertaining, and I did enjoy Wonder Woman. Yeah, there we go. So I hope you enjoyed watching my video review here, and I do hope you come back and subscribe to me first, and also then watch any further videos I do make, and maybe even past ones I've made. My Alien Covenant one, I will refer to it again. It's greatly entertaining if you like to watch a man just completely fold under the pressure of a film where he is a lot invested as a film fan. There we go. I thank you if you have for watching, and I'm not quite sure what my next video review will be, but hopefully it will be appearing hopefully in the near future. Thank you if you have for watching, and goodbye.